This is a chart of Arnold Schwarzenegger. So he was born July 30th, 1947 at 4:10 a.m. in Graz, Austria. So Arnold, of course, is known to be an actor, 8 times Mr. Olympia bodybuilding champion. I think it's 8, 7 or 8. And, failed governor of California, okay? But what a lot of people don't think about so much, they think about everything Arnold's done. One of the things he's been extremely successful in is amassing a fortune. And he's done this through not making movies. Of course, he's done that, but in investing the money he's made in stocks and bonds and investments, and made many millions many times over. So he's an incredible investor as well. I had incredible luck investing, turning the money he made, which was big money, into even bigger money. His net worth is estimated to be anywhere from $400 to $800 million. So he's an extremely wealthy individual. So I wanted to look at his fourth bhava in the Chaturthamsa. The D4 of the Chaturthamsa is the chart that has to do with bhagya, or fortune. So for people to have a fortune of 400 to 800 million, we have to see some strengths in the fourth bhava. And the key bhava is the fourth. That's the bhava of treasures and wealth above and beyond what you need for material living. We could say it's the wealth that lets you have fun and find happiness above and beyond what you need. And then Mercury is the key planet for giving you your fair share in life. Okay? Or if it's really good, more than your fair share, and if it's bad, less than your fair share. So we'll start by looking at the fourth bhava lord. Always a good place to start. The fourth bhava cusp falls in Gemini. And what we did here, we took his fourth cusp, which falls in Virgo. In fact, we can actually go and look at where it falls in Virgo exactly. The fourth cup falls at 24:21 of Virgo. So that means it's in the fourth quarter of Virgo. And that fourth quarter of Virgo in the Chaturthamsa falls into Gemini. Therefore, we have the fourth bhava cusp falls in Gemini here, ruled by Mercury. So Mercury is going to be a doubly important planet. The lord of the fourth, Mercury, in the Lagna of the D4, of the Chaturthamsa. Again, that's an angle. Planets and angles and trines as house lords tend to be more easily produced, luckier with those. Planets in 3rd, 6th, 8, well, basically planets in all houses other than angles and trines tend to be more problematical, particularly in the 6th, 8th, and 12th. But even planets in the 2nd, 11th, and 3rd can offer some difficulties. Angles and trines are best. So here he's got this Mercury nicely placed in an angle. You also notice it's between 12 and 18 degrees of Capricorn, which puts it in the Yuva Avasthas, or the adult state, which means it's going to be able to exert more of its influence in the chart than if it was in a different state. Then a natural neutral sign, which is decent. And Mercury comes out to a robust 343 points in this chart. In fact, it's the strongest planet in that chart, in the Chaturthamsa, or D4. Okay? The next strongest planet is almost a full 100 points away at the moon of 248 points. So whenever you get a Varga where the strongest important planet is, or the most important bhava lord is extremely strong, it's probably going to be a pretty good Varga. So Mercury is solid. Okay, as Mercury, the Karaka of Bhagya, or fortune, and also as the Karaka of the fourth Varga, let's say, and also as the fourth lord. So what's the influences? Well, we're going to pull up our table here and see how Mercury is influencing that fourth. It's influencing it to 122 points. Okay, nice and solid. Getting the help of its friend Venus, it will at times produce up to 178 points of benefit to the fourth. While under the influence of its enemy moon, at times it will go down to 44 points. Still not a negative, so it's a very solid fourth lord and a very solid Mercury. So that's promising some solid fortune. Okay, let's see if there's any negative things. Well, Mars gets reduced a bit by Mercury. Well, actually, it doesn't. Mars starts at 29.6, and Mercury is an enemy, so it's shown in red. But it's not an enemy that's influencing Mars, so it's not reducing Mars's strength. Saturn is the only damaging planet to the fourth. Under the influence of the moon, it goes down to 72 negative points. Under the influence of Mars, Saturn gets agitated to minus 13 points. So at times, Saturn can hurt the fourth bhava, but not nearly to the degree that Mercury is able to boost the fourth bhava. So this is a really amazing fourth bhava in the Chaturthamsa. And of course, Mercury is the planet of business, investments, and stocks. And the fourth Varga is a key Varga for stocks. If you don't have a good Mercury and a good fourth cusp in the fourth Varga, you don't really want to spend time investing in stocks and so on. Now, the other important Bhava in the fourth, or in the D4, is the seventh. Okay? The seventh Bhava is the trade and commerce that can give great fortunes. And it's an important Bhava too. So let's look how that Bhava is. We've seen the fourth is really great. The seventh is influenced by Mercury to 340 points now, to an amazing amount of points. And that's the planet of trade. Then the seventh lord is the moon, who is the second strongest planet in this Varga, and who happens conjunct the seventh Bhava cusp. It's in the seventh, conjunct the seventh cusp in the Rashi. So the moon is boosting the seventh to 119 points. So Mercury and Moon are both really boosting it. Saturn again hurts it to 42 points under the, because Saturn is agitated or starved by the moon, sorry. So actually, let me go back to Saturn on this chart in a moment, okay? I actually made a mistake. I'm actually going to go back to the fourth Bhava here. I was talking about how Saturn is creating a negative influence. Well, Saturn's in Scorpio, and when a planet's in a watery sign and aspected by an enemy, as Saturn is influenced by the enemy moon and the enemy Mars, then that planet, namely Saturn here, becomes thirsty, which isn't, which causes some disappointments, or, we could say lack of fulfillment, but which doesn't, destroy the bhavas it's influencing, the way a starved planet does. So Saturn's not good, but he's not as bad as I even thought. And so then with that great Mercury really boosting the fourth house, it's an amazing fourth house in the D4. So going back to this Septamsha, the seventh Bhava, we see again Saturn's getting hurt by the moon and Mars and hurting the seventh house, but not very significantly because Saturn's in a watery sign, so he's thirsty, he's a lack of fulfillment, but he's not a destructive force. So we got this great Lord, seventh Lord boosting the seventh house of trade and commerce and critical Bhava for investments, and Mercury, just an amazing Mercury boosting the seventh house to 340 points. Okay, so when we get Mercury, the seventh lord, boosting the seventh house, and the fourth house, boosted by Mercury and the fourth lord, that's when you get a chart of a person who can really get ahead in investments. If you don't have a solid Mercury in your D4, and if you don't have a solid seventh lord and a solid fourth lord in the D4, making the big bucks is going to be a very tricky thing to do, and you're going to probably find yourself losing money a lot. If there's heavy afflictions to the fourth or seventh bhavas, it's just not the best thing to become involved in investments and trading. Okay, but Arnold, you can see why he said that he's made millions many times over. So he's made many deals where he's made millions on, and he has a plane that he paid $38 million for, a personal airplane. And his fortune is 400 to 800 million. And with his typical Terminator sense of humor, he was quoted as saying, "Money doesn't make people happy. It doesn't make me happy. I have 50 million right now, and when I had 48 million, I was just as happy." So anyway, he has much more than that. His fortune is huge. So extremely wealthy person has got a great fourth bhava in the Chaturthamsa and a great seventh. And that's what you want to look for in charts. If you're thinking about doing investments or you know someone who wants to invest or a client, you want to look for that fourth varga. And the fourth is the fortune you amass. And the seventh is the commerce and trade that you make, good trades or a bad trade to help you amass that fortune. Mercury is the karaka of trade and also the karaka of getting your fair share. And then you always need to study the seventh and fourth lords as well. Okay, thank you.